I'm gonna teach you how I make breakcore. So first things first, need to get a hold of MM breaks. There's a lot of MM breaks on Google. You can literally look up on Google MM break loop pack, MM break sample pack, MM break collection, something like that. And you can download a zip full of those. And what I want you to do is throw one of these into the playlist. These ones are usually cut perfectly, so you put them on tempo, you double click on them, time knob, you hold that, and now it's on tempo. And what I want you to do is cut little sections of it like this and start moving them around, copying them, pasting them, so you make your own break. So basically, when you finish fucking around, because it's literally just fucking around, it should sound something like this. This is the one that I made. You can make your own style. You can add some layers. And of course, add ambience, because this is like jungle type shit, so it needs to sound older. It's like jungle, but made new. So what I added was cassette tape hiss and white noise. And of course, when it comes to the mastering, I added a little bit of reverb. This is the configuration so you don't screw up the mix. RC20 just to distort, RX 950 to make it sound crispier, and EQ to narrow the bandwidth. Basically are making it sound older, imitating the bandwidth that the vintage cassette tapes had. A little bit of sangudizer and any soft clipper. I use G-clip with 100% softness. Now for the sample, you just need a pad, a regular ass pad. That's it. And what I did right here is automate the EQ. You grab this section right here. You see how this little knob is moving? You right click and you create automation clip. And you make it go down and then up. What this is gonna do is basically a low pass. I did some extra thing. For example, I added my own kick. And what this kick basically does is sidechain the bass and make the whole drums hit harder. You can see right here, I sidechained the sample and the bass. And yeah, for the bass, I added a sub bass and I distorted it. For the bass line, you just need to follow the key of the sample and that's it. You shouldn't make a complicated bass line when you're using a sub. There's a specific 808 that we're gonna use later, because every 8 or 16 bars, when I make breakcore, I switch up the whole sample and the whole drums, because that's my style of making breakcore. So you put everything together, it's gonna sound like this. I added this little layer right here. You need to get creative with layers and with sounds in this genre. I like to add a lot of video game sounds. This sound right here, if you recognize it, respect. For those who don't, it's basically Mortal Kombat 3. Ignore what's happening down here, it's the danger sound. I use that as a layer. And if you think you can beat me in Mortal Kombat, you're tripping. What's very prominent in my style of making jungle and breakcore is the fact that I do a lot of high pass and low pass automations on the master, something like this. Instead of doing it to the sample, you do the same thing to the master, as if you had a DJ deck, for example, and you just move the knob manually. That's what I try to imitate, because when you're listening to a jungle or drum and bass set, what they usually do is play with the filters, high pass or low pass. You can add a lot of effects and perks. The crazier you make it sound, the better. If you're gonna go crazy, you need to have sections on your song to let the listener rest from the craziness. For example, right here, I added a bridge and I added like a little Tony Hawk ambient, because I like playing that game. This is basically what I added. Such a great game, bro. And American Wasteland for the PlayStation 2, don't even get me started on that shit. I added that right here. So this is a whole new section, right? I made a new break. This is the bass that you should be using. I like using distorted sub bass lines because that's just me. That's my way of doing it. But if you're gonna do it, just make a bass line with an 808. I made automation with a distortion for the 808 and I made it sound like this. This is where I got the inspiration from.
basketball?
Bro, I love Regular Show. But that's where I got the inspiration from, and it sounds like this. And always like adding a little funk section. And then for the last section, I picked a sample which I really like that I'm gonna gatekeep. I'm not gonna tell you where I got it from because I'm a bitch and I gatekeep everything. You shouldn't be like that. You shouldn't gatekeep, bro. You're gonna fucking die. Nobody gives a fuck. Don't gatekeep. Don't be a little bitch. The sample that I have right here is from a video game called Frambo. And if you haven't played, go to fucking Steam. I know you have Steam installed because you're a little bitch. You play video games. I don't play anymore, nothing. The only thing that I play with is with your mom's tip. That was some low tier god type shit. But you should totally check that game out. It has amazing soundtrack. The art is beautiful. The story, the puzzles, everything's perfect about that game. It's probably my favorite game of all time. I love it so much and I'm not a bitch ass gatekeeper. And that game's like $2, bro. Go buy it and play it. That's where I got the sample from. And this time around I used a Reese bass. Reese bass is usually used in like EDM type drum and bass. It's not that prominent in breakcore and jungle, but who gives a fuck, right? This is what I used. And I just copied this drum pattern from this section right here. And I thought it was a waste using them for like 20 seconds, so I just copied them. It's not because I'm lazy and I didn't want to create another new pattern. Not at all. And this is how it sounds. So yeah, this is how I make breakcore. I do a lot of switch ups and shit. If you listen to my other breakcore songs called Mental Core, Heaven's Fall, and this one Daging Heart, they're about 4 minutes each, but they have like 5 switch ups. I know how to make regular ass drum and bass, regular ass jungle. I like doing breakcore because it's crazier. I know how to make lo-fi house. I can make a tutorial on that. And I know this and many other genres. So if you're interested, you can join my community. I can teach you whatever you want. I have a private community. We have 3 sessions per week. 2 hours each. You can ask me whatever you want and I can explain you how to make it and the things you should be looking out for. Check the first link in the description below. You probably cannot afford it, but check it out regardless. It's the best place to be, I swear. And if you made it this far into the video, that means you have a top 1% attention span. Congratulations, bro. I admire you for real. If you like this, please hit the subscribe button below and the like button. If you have any question, comment down below. Comment which tutorial should I do next. So yeah, this has been Shinzo, guys. Later.